Hey guys, Sean here and welcome to the F1 Word. Now, since debuting in Formula 1 last season, Lance Stroll has received a lot of criticism, and that does include from myself, I will freely admit that. And the Canadian is labelled by many as just a pay driver. However, despite this criticism, Claire Williams has suggested that the team are looking to extend Stroll's contract as he is, and I quote, living up to expectations. So with it being his home Grand Prix this weekend and following those comments made by Williams, it seemed like the perfect opportunity to look back over the last 6 races and see if Lance Stroll has improved versus 2017. As I touched on there, I have been critical of Lance Stroll in the past massively at times, but I have only given that criticism when it is deserved, not just for the sake of it. As an example, his performance in Monaco this year was dire and his attitude over the course of the weekend was very poor. However, taking that out of the equation, his start to 2018 has been far better than in 2017, despite this year's Williams being considerably worse than last year's car. However, it must also be remembered that he was up against a far more experienced teammate in Felipe Massa last season than he is in 2018. But looking back to last year, and it was a very poor start to the season for the Canadian, he was outraced by his teammate 6-0, and that was the same scoreline as well in qualifying. He had 3 retirements with Massa picking up none in the first 6 races, and he was outscored 20-0 in terms of points. And to be honest, overall in 2017, he was dominated by Massa. Outraced 9-4, outqualified 17-2. He picked up a couple more retirements as well. However, despite all of that, he did score just 3 fewer points than Massa last season. He got himself a total of 7 points finishes, and of course that includes his podium in Baku. Just 18 years old and he scored a podium in his first season. Yes, he was very lucky, there is no denying that. But so was Sergio Perez this year in Azerbaijan, and nobody seems to let that take away from Checo's achievement. Yeah, of course, Perez has had podiums before and so has already proven himself, and you could probably argue is a hell of a lot better of a driver than Stroll, but credit where credit's due. As I've said many times, you have got to get yourself in that position in the first place to be able to capitalise on that luck. But comparing those first 6 races of 2017 to the first 6 of 2018, and the stats are far better for the Canadian. He's outraced his teammate Sergei Sorokin 5-1. He has lost out in qualifying 4-2. He's yet to pick up a retirement and has got 4 points on the board. So what that tells us is he does continue to struggle over 1 lap compared to his teammate. However, there's no denying that even that has been an improvement this year. He has the measure of Sorokin in terms of race pace and has the points to back that up. So looking at those stats, it's fair to say that there has been a definite improvement from Lance Stroll versus his teammate. However, with this year's car being so inferior to last year's, and as I've already kind of mentioned already, Sorokin being in his rookie season, those stats are perhaps somewhat inflated. So has Lance Stroll really done enough to keep that seat at Williams, or is it all just because of the money that he brings to the team? Well, first off, there's no getting away from it. He is a pay driver. But he isn't just a pay driver, as some would say. It doesn't matter how much money you have to throw at a seat in Formula 1. You have got to have some kind of talent in order to gain that drive in the first place, and indeed, to earn a super license as well. I will stand by what I've said in the past. I'm not going to go back on that. Although he does have some form of pedigree, the money is what made the difference in the end. Without the cash, a more proven driver would have been in that seat alongside Massa last season, and Stroll would more than likely have kept his development driver role for another year and perhaps even a season in Formula 2, something which, in my opinion, would have benefited him massively, and the criticism, although still there from some people, would be a damn sight less than it is now. So, although the money was more than likely the reason he was given the seat so quickly, it's not like he has no talent at all. He dominated Euro F3 in 2016, finishing 187 points clear of his nearest rival. However, for the sake of balance, his dad did invest heavily in the Prema Power team, and according to George Russell at the time, there were a lot of team orders that favoured Stroll. So there are other reasons behind that dominance. He did finish a credible 5th the year before, finishing ahead of George Russell and other drivers such as Sergio Sette Camara, both of whom of course are racing in Formula 2 this year, which I suppose kind of highlights how quickly you can climb the ladder if you have the financial backing. Lance Stroll is in his 2nd season in Formula 1, whereas George Russell is in his 1st season in Formula 2, despite the fact they were racing against each other in the same series in 2015 and 2016. But back to the point. Based on his start to 2018, you could argue that he is doing enough to keep hold of that seat. And quite frankly, so long as the money is behind him, Williams are not going to drop him. They need that cash to survive at the moment, and every penny will be vital to them, particularly when you consider their current plight. How things will be if a cost cap is implemented in 2021, we'll have to wait and see, but until then, Lance Stroll is pretty much guaranteed a seat at Williams. Are there better drivers out there who could fill that seat? Yeah, no doubt. So the money is key. But 6 races into 2018, the Canadian has improved. And if he continues to beat his teammate when it matters, and if he can improve whilst developing further, he will continue to stake his claim on that seat. And at just 19 years old, he could well be around in Formula 1 for the long term. Of course, they are just my thoughts and opinions on Lance Stroll, but what do you make of the young Canadian? Do you feel like he's had a good start to 2018, and do you believe that he is good enough to keep his seat at Williams? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I will be back once again tonight at 8 PM for F1 Daily, and this week's news roundup will be uploaded to the channel tomorrow. In the meantime, though, you can follow me on social media. Links to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and to Discord are all in the description down below. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean. This has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.